housewives. Welcome to TP For Your Earholes. My name is Charlynn Schmidt, and with me is...
Patrick Schmidt. That's me.
That's you!
It's a me.
It's a you! And today we are talking about the instability that is streaming platforms and basically my thesis about why we probably won't get more Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head. Yes, I'm a downer, and I'm sorry. I want to be proven wrong.
Way to start the episode with something positive.
Sorry.
But no, you're right. And I think there are some very clear signs that this series may be in danger. And it has nothing to do with the quality of the series, it has nothing to do with the creators, the producers. There are forces outside of their control that are very scary right now.
Yeah. So I felt like, you know what? Last week we brought up this topic and I thought, why not make it a topic? Let's discuss. But before we do that, Patrick, will you tell everybody how they can reach us?
Well, you know what? There are actually several ways. All you got to do is one. You can do more. It's Blue Sky, it's Instagram, and it's Facebook. At TP For Your Earholes, all those places. We're also on YouTube. Search TP For Your Earholes. You will see us show right up immediately in your search bar. And then we also have a website, tpforyourearholes.com, to access all of the back catalog for all of our episodes. And we also have something very cool on that site, which is a contact form where you can directly reach out to us.
That's right. And we personally read it.
We have no filters between you and us. So please reach out. We'd love to hear from you.
Or we can just choose to ignore it if you say really nasty, horrible things. But that's our prerogative.
Yeah, be a good human.
Well, how about we get into it, huh?
Let's do it.
All right, you said a couple of important words here, and I believe they were warning signs. And yeah, I feel like that's a great way to sum up a lot of what is going on. And first and foremost, let's talk about how finding Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head, quite honestly, is a little bit of a mess.
If you want to see what a mess this is, look at the Beavis and Butt-head subreddit and how many threads have been started about, hey, where can I watch the new season? Nobody friggin' knows.
Yeah, and it's because it's not been communicated very well. And it's also because the first two seasons of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head are on Paramount Plus. So you would naturally think it's going to be on Paramount Plus, right? Nope. The third season is airing on Comedy Central with a presumed push to Paramount Plus after the season airs its original run on the cable network. And to that, I've just got to say, what the F?
Right? Comedy Central, don't get me wrong, love it. I could have done without Premium Blend back in the early 2000s, but really do appreciate what they've done and the platform they've given a lot of different shows. And some shows that we really love. But the changeover has been really, really hard for casual fans to keep up with.
Also, I'm sorry, but the Comedy Central of, say, 2000, when we were watching South Park and Premium Blend, Comedy Central Presents, and a bunch of other comedic shows that were just, making it the absolute go-to place for great content, it's not the same thing exactly in 2025. So my big question is, why is season 3 of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head exclusive to Comedy Central first? It's not like this is a premium event where people are going to run out and get cable again because we're cord cutters. A lot of people are. And a lot of people aren't necessarily going to subscribe to like a streaming bundle service that has a bunch of traditionally cable channels just for Beavis and Butt-head. And there's a lot of good reasons for that. Mostly due to the fact that financially, we can't afford however many freaking subscriptions there are out there anymore. Like you and I, we're serial subscribers.
Yes.
We'll pick one up, watch whatever shows we want to watch on there, put it on pause, go to the next one. And that way we're not subscribed to 12 different things and paying who knows how much money when chances are we're not even logging in for that month that we're paying for it. What? Makes no sense, right?
Yeah. And so our argument is, why not make this more accessible, right? Not less accessible. The only things that are really working on live TV is like live sports, right?
Right.
Cable, that's a great place for live sports. That's about the only thing that's doing any kind of numbers there. Everything else has moved to streaming, and the fact that they moved from streaming to cable is really off-putting.
It is. And I had to go look up stats on exactly how many homes still have cable because I genuinely did not know. Turns out, according to Nielsen, it's roughly 1 in 4 homes that still has cable. How many people are watching Comedy Central among those homes? No idea. But to show just how small of a market Beavis and Butt-head has, even in general, look, streaming services make up nearly 45% of TV viewing habits, according to Nielsen, but Paramount Plus takes up 2.2% of that share. So if you put that together, even that much is teeny.
Very teeny. And this is a very diverse, very rich media marketplace right now. And the types of content that we're going to get are going to be more diverse. Now, that does not mean more diverse ownership, but that does mean that anyone who has a mic and a YouTube channel can start something. So that diversity hasn't waned, but what has waned is what gets out there through those streaming platforms and through those cable wires. It's not the same, and it's changing, and it's become very unreliable.
Yes, and that only encourages piracy. The easier you make it on people to access your content, the less likely that they're going to be to go to other means. And piracy means no revenue, studios. So you have to make it easy and accessible so you earn your money.
And streaming is not easy. Streaming is not easy. How many times have you been in a conversation with someone and you're like, oh, have you been watching whatever show? Have you been watching The Handmaid's Tale? Oh, no, what's that on? Wait, what is it on? People can't even tell you what platform their favorite shows are on. And that is in part because the companies are constantly changing. Shows are constantly changing. Streaming services that they use. That is very unpredictable and very frustrating for an audience.
It is. The content rights change on streaming services all the freaking time, meaning the show that you might have been watching last night is on a different streamer and you may or may not have a subscription. So frustrating.
And not only that, but we have a lot of after-the-fact changes. When those rights change, sometimes this episodes change, sometimes the series change. We have scenes that are cut, or we have scenes that are modified. We have episodes that are sped up. They'll speed up episodes by a certain percentage. Just so, like, I know that was a big deal with The Office, where once The Office got into streaming, they sped it up so they could get more ads in per watch.
They did?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, whoa, this is news to me. I did not know this.
Yeah, that was the thing. And it's really common for shows that are like in syndication level, where they just increase the playback speed by 3, 4, 5%, whatever. So it takes a minute less than it did when it originally aired. Therefore, you can slip in a minute more worth of ads unnoticed.
Lovely. Love that for all of us. All of that, in fact. And it's so easy to alter or omit content digitally. Whereas, hey, let's talk about physical media again, like we did last episode. You can't necessarily do that as easily on a disc.
No.
Once it's on there, that thing's on there. You know, another thing that I really don't like about streaming is some stuff is exclusive to streaming, and that could mean in the blink of an eye it disappears forever if it doesn't have physical media attached.
And you're totally right. And one of the big things that kind of drives that sort of instability is the instability of ownership, right? Who owns what platforms and who has control under those umbrellas. From an outside perspective, it's really interesting to watch. From an inside perspective, as somebody who really does depend on these streamers for my entertainment, it's annoying and frustrating.
And it's changing rapidly, and especially at Paramount. that owns Beavis and Butt-head because there's been a whole merger thing happening with Paramount and Skydance and big corporate mergers just generally speaking. Like, granted, I'm no insider, but I do keep track of this kind of news. There's always a lot of shakeup with these kind of mergers. There's always things like employee layoffs, which, hey, guess what? Were announced today as of when we are recording this episode, October 29th. There's always restructuring, new people in charge, maybe even entirely new visions for the company because of the new people in charge. They've got a completely different idea that they want to go with. And this can have a lot of consequences because for creators, for starts, this will possibly put projects on hold. It might mean a delay in greenlighting projects, or it might just mean canceling some altogether while things shake out. That's typical. But this has not been a typical merger.
This has been a bizarre merger in every sense of the word. I want to step back. Bizarre, Bizarre, as in weird. Bizarre, Bazaar, as in a place where you spend money.
It's a bizarre bazaar.
There we go. And listen, we could do an entire episode about this merger and all of the shenanigans that have gone on with it, but we won't because we're a Beavis and Butt-head podcast, not a media landscape podcast.
Yes.
So we will kind of just give you the Cliff Notes version of what this merger means for Beavis and Butt-head.
So here is that. There was a $16 million lawsuit CBS faced from the President of the United States, and CBS is owned by Paramount. The gist of it all is that the company settled the lawsuit so that the Paramount-Skydance merger would meet FCC approval, because that had to happen for it to go through.
Yeah, none of this happens without the Federal Communications Commission, and their approval has to be had for these kinds of mergers to happen. If you really want to go down a fun rabbit hole, do a little Wikipedia search on who the chairman of the FCC is right now.
Yes, and we could do an entire dissertation on this very complex string of events that's unfolded, but if you want more detail, we'll link an article that spells this out much more elegantly than I think either one of us could. That's already out there, so check that out in the show notes, and we'll kind of leave it at that. Let's stick to Beavis and Butt-head and the fact that for show creators, it's a little yet to be seen how this merger might shake out with people who have programming within the realm of this company. For instance, Mike Judge, I don't really know how he feels about this yet. I don't know if he is for or against or indifferent at the moment to that. I do know that Trey Parker and Matt Stone signed a massive contract just before the merger, and I think they're having a lot of fun with that.
Yes.
To which I just want to say bravo.
Yeah, that was a lot of zeros in that contract that they signed. But at the same time, like, they've earned it.
Hey, look, and they sunk so much money into Casa Bonita. They need that money back.
And let's be honest, streaming platforms right now are looking for something to hit, right? They're looking for something that's going to be one of the flagships for their programming, for their services. And in our kind of fractured media landscape, it makes a lot of sense to give a lot of money to shows and creators that are well established. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink, hint, hint.
Green light season 4, prove me wrong. And it's not just Paramount either that is dealing with this whole thing. I mean, just a couple days ago, Warner Brothers announced it was putting itself up for sale. And again, link to that in the show notes. This is a trend, I would say, of consolidation of media in general. And this also has some potential consequences to it.
Yeah. We talk about it a little bit in my mass media and society class that I teach about oligopolies. So an oligopoly is a little bit different from a monopoly. A monopoly is one company has control. An oligopoly is it's a small number of companies have control. And you might think, oh, small number of companies, there'll be big competition, right? usually the goals of those large companies are well aligned with each other. So they don't need to compete with each other to basically gain the foothold they're looking for or to make the money they're looking for. And so what that means is we end up seeing fewer people producing content, fewer creators being able to get a foothold, less content overall, and there are definitely fewer options for how to get your work out. Even though, like I said earlier, everyone with a mic and a camera can be a creator, that doesn't mean that everyone with a mic and a camera can have that kind of ability to develop a mass audience.
Yeah. It's people like you and me versus billionaires.
And we're barely thousandaires.
Barely. We got 4 figures.
But the consolidation, as it continues, it really does affect the control of your media. It affects the control of the kind of entertainment you see, the kind of journalism you see, the kind of, I hate to use this word, but I'll use it, media you see. And in our existing hellscape of a variety of different streaming platforms all competing for our attention, believe it or not, right now, this diversity is a good thing. That competition is a good thing. That sort of push and pull, us being serial subscribers, that's a good thing because that means there's actual competition as opposed to oligopoly competition.
Right. If that goes away, I really don't want to know what that looks like. Might just tune out entirely. And so I think really to sum it all up, home on streaming is no such thing. It is not a home at all right now. Companies kind of need to get their you-know-what together.
I want to complicate this a little bit more.
Ooh.
Just before we end this episode, I want to complicate this a little bit more. Home on streaming is no home at all. Is a home on Comedy Central a home at all?
I don't think so because, again, how long is it going to be there? And is Comedy Central a good home for Beavis and Butt-head right now? Are enough people watching the show? Are enough people able to watch the show? I for sure think the answer is no. Because of what you said at the top of the show with the Reddit post, people can't find it, and the people who want to probably don't have Comedy Central.
And I just had a thought.
What's that?
What if in 2055, the way that we're able to watch Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head, the most recent seasons, is those people who still had cable, still had a VCR, and ripped them to digital?
I would love a digital VHS copy of Mike Judge's Beavis and Butt-head.
And you know what? That might be what it takes for this series to survive past the whims of a higher up at one of these streaming companies.
Yikes. It's pretty bleak. And right now with things so unsure, that is in a nutshell why I don't think we're going to get more seasons of this show. And that sucks because we've enjoyed it.
Oh, it's been so good.
We're watching the new episodes and we're having a good time. And I'm grateful for what we have because if you would have told me we had new Beavis and Butt-head in the 2020s, I probably would have laughed at you in 2015. But here we are. We do have this. I'm happy with what we've got. But would I love more? Of course. Of course I do.
And we would love to be proven wrong. We would love a season 4 to happen. And even more so, we'd love a season 4 to happen in a way that is not so difficult and not so confusing and not so frustrating for the people who love this show the most.
Amen. And with that, I think we've said our piece.
I think we have too. And I think, again, this is one of those topics that it's really, really important to hear from our audience on because this is so dense and we know that our habits are not the same as everyone else's habits. So we'd love to hear from people who got cable just to watch Beavis and Butt-head.
Right? There is somebody out there who did that.
We'd love to hear from people who got Paramount Plus just to watch Beavis and Butt-head, and now they have a subscription they don't know what to do with because they thought season 3 was going to be on there and it wasn't.
Yeah, along with all of the other myriad of issues surrounding the company, the merger, blah, 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 blah. It's complicated, y'all.
Like I say, we really hope to be proven wrong. We really hope there's a season 4. What's most frustrating to us, I think, is if there's not a season 4, it will have nothing to do with how good the show is.
And that's too bad. The continuation of a show should be based on reception, quality, and not just dollars and cents.
And the whims of whoever.
Yeah, and the whims of whoever is in charge today. Yeah.
So with that, if you want to reach out to us, you can do that in a variety of ways. Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, at TP For Your Earholes. Also on YouTube, TP For Your Earholes. Search that, you will find us very fast.
That's right. And we hope you'll tune in next week for what other shenanigans we've got cooked up. And until then, you fart knockers out there, stay sane.